Hi there, my name is Peter Hayden and I'm going to take you through a bit of a post-mortem on a recent RFP. I have been working in the IT industry for 25 plus years in support, development, infrastructure teams, and in the last 12 years in a sales, pre-sales capacity to help organizations understand how professional services from companies like I work for can be used to help them achieve their outcomes. And I'm still learning, and still surprised by what comes out to market and what customers request. And so I want to take you through one recent RFP, or request for proposal, sometimes called tenders, request for quotes, RFQs, a whole range of similar names that we encountered for a transition from a on-premises cloud data warehouse into something like Microsoft Fabric. So I want to take you through, I guess, 6 lessons learned, 3 things that were good that came out of that process, and 3 things that were mistakes. Again, the perception of what the customer asked for. And why I'm doing this is to help you think about, as you're going out asking for partners and professional services and consultants to help you, what are some of the things you can take away that work well, and some things that might be some mistakes. So let's get into a couple of things that in my opinion, these are my opinions, that the customer got right in terms of how they approach the market for this. So the first thing is they were open to a lot of options, right? Now, this won't make sense shortly, but on the outset, they were after a partner who could help them navigate what they wanted to do, and were open to ways of doing that. So that's a really good way to help and get the advice you're seeking to get the outcome you are after. Describe the outcome, put your requirements down, but be open to different approaches and methodologies. So that was really good. The other thing that worked really well in their favour is they provided detail. You'd be surprised how often we get people coming to market that actually don't provide a lot of detail. It's really hard to estimate effort around that. So providing good level of detail is also really good. And what I really liked about this one, which we get all the time, is we had one-to-one briefing sessions. So this allowed us to have a closed session with the customer, ask particular questions, and get answers that we needed to help inform the response, or maybe some information we needed to clarify from the detail here, and about the options they were seeking. Now, any good procurement process would say, well, any of those questions, they should then be made available to everyone else who was bidding on that, and that's exactly the case. So there was certainly no conflicts of procurement process here. So there's some things that got really right, but there's some things that, again, in my opinion, they get wrong. They got wrong. So the first of all is while they were after lots of options, they also had a narrow mindset. So this was evident in some of the post-submission discussions. What they actually wanted was everyone to fill in the options they really wanted so they can compare apples for apples. When actually an alternative response, which was going to, in our opinion, save money, a lot of money and cost and anguish, and get them an outcome that made commercial sense. For consideration, we didn't really get invited back to talk about that. So that's just as a disclaimer, we didn't win this one. And that's okay, but I think these were counter. And so that doesn't add up. When you ask for lots of options, but you are not going to consider things that are not what you asked for, they're going to give you a better outcome. And we went through a validation process with vendors to confirm that what they asked for was actually going to cost. The ROI was astronomical, about 20, 30 years. It was with information we were able to get at the time, which was quite extensive. That was something that I think I think is not going to set them up well for failure. Time may prove me wrong, time may prove me right too, but that's just a little caution around making sure that you are able to explore other options and considerations. There was actually a time, this is all time bound. So as we went through the process, including these one-on-one briefings, they had people who had already defined the budget, defined the timelines, but it was very clear from an expert's perspective, this is not my own, this is lots of different people that we consulted internally and with our third-party vendors as we went through the response process. This time was unrealistic. Therefore, the budget was unrealistic. If you are setting time bounds here, I think it's okay to kind of go, we think it's about this, or this is our budget, but you've got to be open to go, don't set expectations with your managers or executive, this will be done in a certain time frame on a certain budget, because it may not be the case. And again, this is why I think that they're setting themselves up for failure. Because of that, you're going out to market for experts, then you need to take on that advice. And if they found someone who did that, then, again, I could be proven wrong, but I see this a lot where people put time bounds on things that might not actually marry up to reality, or through variation will cost them a lot more in the end. So you'll be very wary about doing that. I think asking for and doing for budget purposes is useful to help inform that, so you can make decisions around that. Otherwise, you may as well go get contractors, which will be a cheaper option, and you manage that. If you've got time, if you're a really good handle on the requirements, you're a really handle on the time, and you're very certain on getting those outcomes, manage that project yourself. Don't come to market asking for third parties to come and do that for you. It's putting everyone in a compromised position. And lastly, they got wrong was a fixed price. Now, despite what the customer thought, a lot of detail, and there was a lot, the reality was that as we went through this information in these briefings, it was very evident that there are a lot of hidden problems that the customer even admitted during the briefings, and going, yes, there are problems with these processes, with this data warehouse, with the imports, with the data cleanliness, and they admitted the complexity. They admitted how long it took to build this thing with a very large team, yet the timeframes didn't align for a migration, given that some of the methods do not support in the destination system, and putting a fixed price on that. Those sorts of things, I think there are ways. I get the need to kind of put a price and meet that, but there are approaches that are worthwhile that I'll add on here is going to set you up in good stead. One is, find a partner you like working with. Get, whether you fixed price or time materials, maybe a full detailed discovery to give you a full understanding of the aspect of what you need to do, which is what we suggested, is the best way, coupled with maybe an alternative method instead of migration doing something else. But phase this so that your set up for success, the project set up for success, and the people you engage and the people you partner with set up for success, so that you can then go, right, now you've got a better understanding of the detail, the scope. It's impractical to put everything available in a document or a briefing session, but that due diligence process lets you validate the partner you're working with, and also then gives you a much better understanding of price, and you can always go back out to market for that second stage if you don't like what you are getting with that with the vendor you chose. So I think about those options and going into it with a more informed view, right, is going to set you up for success. And look, this might come across that we didn't win it, it's not fair. I just feel passionate about knowing there's going to be lots of problems, having experienced this and seen the effects with hundreds of projects over those 12 years, that I just doesn't give me ease that the customer is going to get the outcome thereafter. So I wish them all the luck. But I guess if you're coming out to market, thinking about your projects, take some advice there, and I'd like to share more of these types of, lessons learned, or my opinions and feedback around how customers go to market. I think it's really interesting or how different organisations, and still after 12 years, there are new creative ways that customers want to come and engage. So I'll continue to do these. If you found this useful, hit that like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.